Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, if you haven't already subscribed, please ensure to do just that. Hi, everyone. I'm back again, and this time I want to talk about sleeping in church. At the moment, I truly find it very hard to believe that once upon a time I used to struggle with sleep in church. And maybe because back then I wasn't attending church. For me, I wasn't attending church because I had or understood the place of having a personal relationship with God. That's not to say I'm a highly religious person. I always put out this disclaimer: do not trust my judgment. Do not trust my judgment. Very high disclaimer, because I'm not your regular average Nigerian Christian. I do not agree with a lot of things a lot of you do in the name of Christianity, but that's not the point of this video today. But the point of this video is to say that once upon a time I used to attend church, not because I cared about what happened in church, or not because I understood the place of God or spirituality or the church or religion or the place of a personal relationship with God. I used to attend church because my parents would obviously drag me to church or scold me if I'm not in attendance. And I was just attending church to satisfy them for years, possibly up to a decade, maybe even 2 decades, because obviously maybe the first 10 years of my life and then maybe the next 10, especially during teenage years, I wasn't exactly very excited to be in church. But guess who was in church because he didn't want his parents and guardians to talk plenty and scold him? Me. I realized that in that age, teenage years especially, and early 20s, I struggled with sleep in church because my mind space wasn't in church. I wasn't there because I was interested in what was going on in church. But ever since there was a shift, and this shift came majorly in school, where I now had freedom, I could sit with my own thoughts. I had now matured. I was catering to myself for some time, and I realized how grace had taken me really far back then as an undergrad. Even up until now, the conviction of place of God, of a personal relationship, of mumbling quiet prayers, of even praying while walking, jogging, or running, interestingly, of listening to sermons while in transit, or just listening to sermons while cooking, doing dishes, sanitizing the house, doing laundry, and the likes. I eventually realized that no one had to tell me, beg me, or force me, and I would listen to an hour, 2 hour long sermon at length. And this wasn't even in church. So ever since there was a shift, all of that changed. It seems so simple. It seems so easy to now be in a church premises and to really pay attention and to really be there, be present, be in the moment, engage, worship. It seems so simple what I'm talking about, but it's such a big deal for me. You might not really understand if you've never really maybe struggled with faith, struggled with belief, struggled with placing God. For you that's struggling, there's a God. God is real. I hope you find him. He finds you. I hope you experience him. And I genuinely pray that human beings do not chase you away from God. Please, anything and everything you do, please do not judge God based off of what human beings are doing. Even God got tired of human beings severally. First of all, he sent them out of the Garden of Eden. At some point, he regretted creating human beings. There was a flood. There was Sodom and Gomorrah, bombarded the whole place. Christ, he had to come and die. We've had so many, should I call them canon events, to show you that even God that made man is tired of men. Who are you or who am I not to be tired of men? But that's not a yardstick to measure God or to judge or conclude your experience about God. I've struggled with faith myself, and guess what? I've also contemplated and considered going fully agnostic or going fully atheist. I've been in all those mind spaces, trust me. This is conversation for another day. I have also considered converting to Islam at some point, and I did extensive studies and research, and I eventually had a change of heart. But it was a great journey either ways, because now I feel like I am armed with knowledge and proof to have made this decision. You absolutely do not have to agree with me, and that's fine. Whatever faith you find yourself practicing, please know that human beings, especially Nigerians, especially Nigerian Christians, are not an adequate representation of God, of godliness, of spirituality, of religion. I do not know how best to explain this. this. I believe we can always expand this conversation in another video some other day. I just thought to share that in recent years, for at least some 5, 6, 7 years, I have stopped struggling with sleeping in church. And I think I penned down these thoughts to share because I saw certain people sleep in church. I know there's the room for fatigue that can be denied, but when I was sleeping in church, it was more like a consistent thing. It was more like a practice. In fact, in some instances, it was more premeditated because I wasn't really interested. And I'll just conclude when I get to church, I'm going to sleep because I just have to be in the premises. What else can I do since I'm disconnected from everything and everyone and the person of God? As at then, I would just plan that I'm going to church, I'm going to put my head down, I'm going to kneel down like I'm praying, and I'm simply going to sleep. And I even wasn't embarrassed about it. I transcended that mind space, and I'm glad to share. And like I said, it seems so simple, but it's a big deal for me because trust me, it was a major shift. So more on that in later times as we go along this journey. Thanks for watching. Please do remember to comment, share, like, and subscribe. Bye for now.